Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
And there's no place for it, and we've been professionals throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Caitlin Clark shocks everyone with this stunning announcement for the next season and her future team. The basketball world is in disbelief as the superstar reveals a game-changing move that will leave fans speechless. With a promise of unmatched excitement and skill, Caitlin is ready to take the sport to new heights. The question is, where will she go next? Stay tuned for a season like no other. Hashtag Caitlin Clark, hashtag Basketball Revolution, hashtag Next Chapter.
Allow me to publicly thank the Indiana Fever for putting up such a great fight tonight and for battling back again and again and again all season long. Let me thank Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and all the rest for refusing to say die, refusing to lose, fighting back again and again and again, and playing at a much higher level than they should be at this stage and age. Was I ever entertained?
Caitlin Clark is gearing up for a season like no other, and she's making one thing clear: she's putting in the work to win. In her latest statement, Caitlin revealed that she has been working tirelessly, training harder than ever before, to ensure that this season is hers. She's not just aiming for personal success. Caitlin is determined to lead her team to victory, pushing herself and her teammates to new heights. With intense workouts and a relentless focus on perfecting every aspect of her game, Caitlin is ready to show the world why she's one of the best to ever play the game. She's not just playing for herself, but for her team, and her commitment to winning is undeniable. Her message is clear. This season, Caitlin Clark is not just going to compete, she's going to conquer. Stay tuned for a performance that will leave everyone in awe. Hashtag Caitlin Clark, hashtag winning mindset, hashtag basketball queen, hashtag teamwork, hashtag hard work pays off.
A lot of things that this group accomplished that, a lot of people probably didn't think was possible, one, to start the season, and two, after the start we had to the season. So, yeah, it'll definitely be probably a little weird for me over the course of the first couple weeks, and then I'm sure I'll get bored and pick up a basketball again. So,
Caitlin Clark is more than just a player. She's a phenomenon. Known for her unmatched skills, record-breaking performances, and leadership on the court, Caitlin has earned her place as one of the biggest stars in women's basketball. Her incredible journey has inspired countless fans, and now they're eagerly waiting for what's next. With a new season on the horizon, Caitlin's fans are on the edge of their seats, anticipating every move she makes. Her next chapter promises to be bigger and better than ever, and no one is more excited than her loyal supporters. Whether it's her dazzling three-pointers, her leadership, or her fierce competitiveness, Caitlin Clark never fails to deliver. The countdown has begun, and the question on every fan's mind is, what will Caitlin Clark do next? One thing's for sure, her next season is bound to be a game changer. Hashtag Caitlin Clark, hashtag basketball icon, hashtag next season, hashtag fans are ready, asterisk, asterisk.
We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world and what we have to deal with in that aspect. And, we come to play basketball for our job and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking it. There's no time for it anymore.
Caitlin Clark is not just ready for the next season, she's challenging the best of the best. In a bold move, Caitlin has reassessed her game and is now setting her sights on taking down the biggest names in basketball. She's calling out none other than Angel Reese and Aya Wilson, two of the most dominant players in the game. With her relentless drive and confidence, Caitlin Clark isn't shying away from the challenge. She's embracing it. This season, Caitlin is ready to show that she can stand toe-to-toe with the best and prove that she's a force to be reckoned with. Fans are buzzing with anticipation as the stage is set for an unforgettable showdown. Will Caitlin rise to the challenge and come out on top? The excitement is real, and the basketball world is watching.
Clark now has 761 points, breaking the record once held by Simone Augustus. However, there is a caveat. Augustus set the mark back in 2006 when the WNBA regular season was just 34 games. Clark broke the record in 39 games.
Caitlin Clark has everyone asking one big question. Can she really win the season? After making some bold statements about her dedication and drive, fans and analysts alike are buzzing with speculation. Caitlin has promised to give everything she's got to lead her team to victory, but will her hard work and determination be enough to claim the championship? With her track record of incredible performances, Caitlin's fans believe she's more than capable of delivering on her promise. But as the season approaches, many are wondering, is this the year Caitlin Clark takes it all the way to the top? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Caitlin is ready to fight for that title.
How I would grade myself, I'm a tough grader. I feel like I had a solid year, but for me, the fun part is I feel like I'm just scratching the surface, and I'm one that's nitpicking every single thing I do, and I know I want to help this franchise get even better, help my teammates get even better, be better for my teammates, and I know there's a lot of room for me to continue to improve. So that's what excites me the most. I feel like I can continue to get a lot better, and before we know it, I'm sure we'll all be back here.
Although the Connecticut Sun squad was a well-rounded and playoff experienced team, Caitlin wasn't one to back down from a challenge. From the first tip, she attacked the basket, took her shots with confidence, and made sure that she gave her team the best chance to win. The pressure in that game wasn't just on Caitlin's shoulders.
We got a lot of players, a lot of these wonderful ladies who bust their tail to make the WNBA what it was. Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops, who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people gave a damn.
Although Caitlin Clark's final game may have ended in disappointment, her entire season was nothing short of extraordinary. She cemented her status as one of the WNBA's most entertaining and skilled players that year with her ability to create for teammates and score goals. The Indiana Fever relied heavily on Caitlin, and it's critical to recognize how outstanding her season was given the fierce competition in the WNBA. Every team in the league knew that Caitlin was the player to stop, and defenses were set up to slow her down, and opposing coaches were always changing their tactics to lessen her impact, but Caitlin always managed to perform at an elite level every single night.
Well, that was a lot of fun watching Caitlin Clark's rookie season, which is now over. The Indiana Fever knocked out of the postseason by the Connecticut Sun in a 2-game sweep. And so we got to see the carryover from Iowa transition to the pro game, her ability to help develop a team's cohesion and chemistry. And we saw that work so well as the season went on. Clearly brought like a magnet phenomenal attention to the league, bringing new fans, a committed fan base, not just in her home arena, but bringing fans to away arenas and packing the houses and increasing different venues from smaller to larger because of their presence. It's been fun.
One of Caitlin's most noteworthy skills is probably her ability to score from a long distance. She has an amazing ability to hit three-pointers from far beyond the arc with incredible efficiency, forcing defenders to play tight, creating driving lanes that she can take advantage of with her speed and ball-handling abilities. However, Caitlin is more than just a scorer. She is also one of the league's best playmakers, frequently dishing out assists and getting her teammates involved in the offense. In fact, Caitlin's playmaking is one of the things that sets her apart from other top scorers. While many players, Caitlin's ability to see the court and make the proper pass at the right time allows her to concentrate just on scoring points. This was exemplified by her 9 assists in her final game, and as was previously noted, she could have had even more if her teammates had taken advantage of more opportunities. However, Caitlin's leadership as a rookie player this season truly stood out above the numbers. Caitlin played a big part for the Fever. She became the player her teammates looked to in pivotal situations, whether it was making a significant defensive play or making a big shot in the closing minutes. She was always there for her team when they needed her most, and her leadership and on-court talent made her one of the WNBA's most important players this season.
I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that.
It's not surprising that Caitlin has decided to take a break after such a demanding and intense season. Many WNBA players choose to play overseas during the offseason in order to stay in shape and earn extra money, but Caitlin decided she needed a break. It's important to note that the WNBA season can be extremely taxing, especially for players who take on as much responsibility as Caitlin. Playing overseas may be alluring, but it also means continuing the same demanding schedule with little time for recovery. For Caitlin, the physical and mental toll of the season was sufficient to convince her that rest was the best course of action.
So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Caitlin chose not to play 3v3 basketball, a variation of the game that has been gaining popularity, in addition to skipping her overseas play. The fast-paced nature of 3v3 demands that players be adept on both the offensive and defensive ends. Although it might have been an enjoyable way to keep in shape, Caitlin knew that her body needed more than just a break from full-court basketball. She needed a full recovery that would enable her to return stronger the following season. Caitlin's choice to take a break is mature, especially for someone so young. Many athletes feel pressure to continue playing, either to maintain their position in the league or to stay in peak physical condition, but Caitlin knows that taking care of her body now will pay off later. By taking a break, she's allowing herself the chance to recover both mentally and physically, and making sure she's prepared to play at her best when the next WNBA season starts.
Third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name.
Caitlin Clark's constant annoyance during the season was the absence of calls from the refs, whether she was bumped on the perimeter or driving to the basket and absorbing contact. Caitlin was frequently the recipient of unanswered calls. This was especially annoying because Caitlin, one of the best players in the league, expected to be treated with the same deference as her colleagues.
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. So I don't know, it reminded me of the technical that I got in college where I said, damn it, where it's like a personal frustration. Had nothing to do with my team, had nothing to do with their reffing, had nothing to do with other team. It was just because I'm a competitor and I felt like I should have been making more shots. So, but I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that. So I want to thank him for that.
This problem resurfaced during her final game versus the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin drove to the basket several times, only to be met with hard fouls and no whistles from the referees. This pattern had followed her throughout the season, and fans, coaches, and analysts had noticed it as well. The lack of calls is particularly confusing because Caitlin is one of the league's rising stars in the NBA and WNBA, and players like LeBron James or A.A. Wilson are used to receiving favorable calls when it comes to officiating, especially when they attack the basket aggressively. This discrepancy in officiating has raised questions about the WNBA's consistency. In addition to the difficulties Caitlin faced on the court, she also had to deal with a challenging situation off the court during her final game, when a fan in the stands started jeering Caitlin. For the majority of the game, Caitlin ignored the fans' remarks and stayed focused despite the abuses directed at her. However, as the taunting persisted, Caitlin ultimately had enough and had a moment reminiscent of NBA superstar LeBron James. Caitlin, who is renowned for her poise and serenity, showed rare signs of displeasure when she pointed out the fan to the arena staff, who quickly escorted the person out of the stadium. Under pressure, but this occurrence demonstrated that even the top players have their limitations. Since Caitlin Clark is no longer in the playoffs, the WNBA postseason has changed, and one player who may be relieved is. The two players have had a fierce rivalry throughout the season, and with Caitlin out of the picture, Angel Reese, a fellow star and competitor, knows that one of her main barriers to winning a championship has been eliminated. However, Angel has never publicly expressed any happiness over Caitlyn's elimination from the playoffs. It's evident that Caitlyn's absence alters the postseason dynamics. Without her, the Indiana Fever are less dangerous, and Angel's route to a possible championship becomes somewhat more obvious. Attention is now turned to other players, with AIA Wilson becoming the final major talent to remain in the playoffs. The WNBA as a whole is significantly impacted by Caitlin Clark's withdrawal from the playoffs, not just the Indiana Fever or the playoff race. Few athletes have ever generated as much excitement and interest in the league as Caitlin did during her breakthrough season.
People are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Fans tuned in especially to watch Caitlin play, and her standout performances were must-see television. Now that Caitlin is not playing, the WNBA faces a tremendous problem in retaining interest and viewership without one of its main draws. Without Caitlin on the court, the WNBA loses one of its most marketable and exciting players, which could lead to a noticeable decline in viewership and attendance. It's no secret that the WNBA has been working hard to grow its fan base in recent years. The league has made significant strides in terms of marketing, broadcasting, and accessibility.
Obviously, people don't understand, if they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team, I'm going to be competitive, I'm going to talk trash to her just because I'm super competitive and that's what we do. But off the court, we're going to kick in and have fun, so I think that's a part of the game, and just trying to normalize, trash talking is okay, but not taking it personal off the court, and obviously that has become a thing, and people are just trying to make it seem like it's something, but I love Caitlin, I love her game, and I admire everything.
Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA goes beyond just her on-court performances. She has become a cultural figure, someone who has drawn new fans to the league and brought a level of excitement that hasn't been seen in years. Now that she's out of the playoffs, there's a sense of loss not just for the Fever, but for the league as a whole. Caitlin brought something special to the WNBA, an energy and excitement that resonated with fans. Her absence will be felt, and it's clear that the WNBA will miss her presence. But if there's one thing we know about Caitlin Clark, it's that she'll come back stronger than ever. She's already shown that she has the talent, drive, and work ethic to be one of the best players in the world, and this break will only give her more time to recharge and refocus. When she returns next season, the WNBA will once again be electrified by her play, and fans will be eagerly awaiting her comeback. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.